Same-sex marriages are on hold indefinitely. A federal appeals court blocked the unions this afternoon while it considers the constitutionality of Proposition 8. Carol Ferguson joins us live with more. Carol?
Kurt, we just got this information a couple hours ago, so this is still very late breaking. I'm in front of the Kern County Administrative Building, and 48 hours from now, gay couples hope they could have been getting married here again as of Wednesday night. Let's get ourselves caught up on this issue because it's gone back and forth and back and forth. It is, again, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that now has ruled they will consider the constitutionality of Proposition 8. That is the proposition the voters passed back in November of 2008, which bans same-sex marriage. It says that marriage can only be between a man and a woman. And as you said, it was last week that a federal judge had struck that down. Now, a step above him, this federal appeals court will decide the constitutionality of the proposition and what to do next with the judge's ruling. If you'll come back out to me now live, Carol Lair joins me. And as a spokesperson, what's your reaction? You just read this about the same time I was calling you. Correct. Your first reaction to this latest development late this afternoon?
Well, we were hoping to make history on Thursday, but I have a lot of faith in the judicial system. It tells me that they're taking a serious look at the constitutionality of this, and whatever ruling they make will be hopefully the one that we want. Marriage equality, I believe, is coming to California. There's no question in my mind that this will be achieved. It's right. There's a whole group of people that are being denied their civil rights, and we're hoping for a positive outcome.
Is it correct to say you're speaking from the perspective of the gay and lesbian community?
That would be correct.
So can you sum up kind of just what the reaction is as of today?
I haven't really talked to anybody else. I know there'll be disappointment. That we had about 6 couples that were hoping to be able to get married on Thursday. That's not going to happen, but equality is coming, and this is a step in that process.
Carol Lair, thank you so much. I'll get you to hang on here for a second. We are also in contact with some spokespeople from the community who have the other point of view, the other perspective. We will hear from them at about 5:30 or so. We'll make sure we get that to you as well. I did hear from another person from the gay and lesbian community who told me she is disappointed, but she kind of feels that this may bring this issue up to a higher level, and she is somewhat encouraged that now there's a broader look is being given to this whole issue.
Same-sex marriages are on hold indefinitely in California tonight. A federal appeals court this afternoon blocked the unions while it considers the constitutionality of Proposition 8. 17's Kelsey Thomas joining us now with local reaction to that decision. Kelsey.
Jim, the ruling was made by a 3-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco. Now, this latest decision outweighs a judge's decision 12 days ago that would have allowed same-sex couples to marry beginning on Wednesday.
The power invested in me by the state of California.
Same-sex marriages were set to begin on Wednesday, but county clerks won't be issuing any marriage licenses now that an appeals court has intervened. Conservative Ken Mettler, who has been outspoken about the issue, says he is somewhat relieved by this latest ruling, but says there is still a lot of work to be done.
I'm sorry that some of these folks feel like they're not achieving their defined happiness, but that is not what the will of the people is, to define marriage. And frankly, it's much healthier for our society to have it between one man and one woman. U.S. District Judge Vaughn Walker made a ruling on August 4th that Prop 8 was unconstitutional. Matt Guenther says many of his friends who were all set to tie the knot will now have to wait.
Prior to today's ruling, we didn't really know how long the window would be open that individuals would be able to be married. So those who were hoping to get married within the next few years were all lined up and ready to go because this seems to have been their only chance.
Both sides are hoping for a favorable ruling from the appellate court, but a decision could be pushed into next year.
Hopefully they don't get hung up on some contrived technicality and they allow this to go forward to the Supreme Court.
I'm really confident that if this goes to the Supreme Court, that this may lead the way for same-sex marriage across our nation, which is the right thing to do.
The Ninth Circuit is giving both sides the next few months to file briefs on Judge Walker's ruling. Arguments are set for December.
And 17 newsmakers now to talk more about the gay marriage debate. We are joined in studio by people on both sides of the Proposition 8 debate. Again, arguments are expected to be heard by that court in December, but a ruling may not come down until next year. So what happens now? A lot of people still in limbo over this decision, and we've been talking with both sides. And this morning we have Ken Mettler, a Proposition 8 supporter and campaign organizer, and also Matt Guenther, a gay rights activist. Gentlemen, good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Now, Matt, let me start with you. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is known as being a pretty liberal court. Are you surprised by its decision to halt gay marriages tomorrow?
I am somewhat surprised, yes. It seems that this was a decision on, they decided to err on the side of caution and not move too quickly. I feel that it was unnecessary and it was an error because the right thing to do here was to grant gays to marry once again. After all, it is a human right. So yes, we will see in the end that we will come out on top. But for now, this was a big sadness for us because many of my friends were hoping to get married this week, and they'll be waiting another few years for this.
And Ken, let me ask you, were you surprised? Because it looked like it was going to move forward all the way until just yesterday, and then this came down late yesterday afternoon.
Well, not really. In that, what we have to understand here is the hearing on December 6th is actually about an issue that came up, and what that was that our governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and our Attorney General, Jerry Brown, failed to uphold the vote of the people. So the hearing on December 6th is about who has standing to represent Prop 8, traditional marriage, and it'll come down to the group of citizen activists who did the right thing, stood up for traditional marriage, and actually the Imperial County, Board of Supervisors from Imperial County. So that's specifically what the hearing will be on December 6th. Once that issue is decided that they do have standing, because our governor and our attorney general did not do their constitutionally sworn duty, then it's more than likely going to proceed to the Supreme Court.
And Ken, let me ask you, you said yesterday in our interview with you that it's, quote, healthier for our society to have marriage between one man and one woman. But some call that hypocritical when you have men and women who have been married 2, 3, even 4 times, while some same-sex couples have been together for more than 20 years.
Well, we can debate all those nuances. Yes, there is no perfect institution. However, it is the most basic building block of our society. And it has proven itself, even though there are flaws with marriage between one man and one woman. Yes, they have problems, but it is healthier for our society. We have a long, long tradition of Judeo-Christian foundation in this country. It has served us well. It has made this country unique. And it is very, very important that we preserve this most basic building block for our society.
And Matt, let me get your reaction.
Well, I think one of the most basic building blocks in our society is the upholding of human rights. And we've shown time and time again through the Supreme Court that when the majority tries to encroach upon the rights of a minority, the minority will be defended by the Supreme Court. So we anticipate that to happen within the next few years.
Okay, and at this point, Matt, as I mentioned, we may not have a decision until next year. So what happens now? Is there a plan in place? Do you know where you're going from here?
Now we wait. It seems we'll be waiting some time. This hearing scheduled for December will actually be the pretrial for the appellate court, and then there will be the trial, and then that will proceed to the Supreme Court if they decide to hear it.
And Ken, what about you?
Well, we'll have to see. This could hinge on a couple items. First of all, perhaps the Supreme Court will rule that this is a states' rights issue, because frankly, in the Constitution, there is no right to marry. That is left to the states to decide. So it could be very well that this San Francisco Judge Walker should have never heard this appeal in the first place, this federal judge, because it is the state constitution already that marriage is between one man and one woman.
All right. And Matt, do you think it might come down to that, to being a states' right?
I'm sorry?
Do you think it will come down possibly to being a states' right? I know right now there are 5 states where same-sex marriage is legal, and the District of Columbia as well.
I don't believe it will ultimately rest on states' right, because as I said before, this is a human right that will come down to whether or not each individual in this country deserves the right to marry, which we do.
All right, Matt Guenther and Ken Mettler, we are out of time, but thank you both for joining us this morning talking about Proposition 8 and what's to come.
Thank you.